G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. We're going to be jumping back on the ground and having a look at the high-tier Operation Heat reward vehicle, the Orbital with the HVG. That is 60mm high-velocity gun. It's kind of cool. But it's weird. Much like the P59, it is really, really weird. It's one of those vehicles that's not meta-defining. It's not quite really, really powerful, but it's nice. It just sits in that spot that's kind of nice. Somewhere in between, not too overpowered, not too underpowered, but one of the sort of in between. And that's really, really nice. That's really good to see. In fact, all the vehicles that I've seen in the Operation Heat event seem to be fairly well balanced overall. And whilst the Orbital is quite fast, fully stabilized, and the one in the tree is at 6.7, no stabilizer, and from what I've been told is absolutely garbage, this thing is kind of neat. It takes the mobility of the Orbital, takes its gun, which is a 60mm NATO rifle, I believe, and gives it dart, which can hit the upper front plate of a T-54 and penetrate it from a couple of kilometers away. It's awesome. I love it. This thing sits at 8.0, so it's a bit higher than something like the Air Comet, which is 5.3. It's a tier 5, which is really nice. So that means that you can actually grind out your tier 4s, actually all the way through. You can grind out your Italian tree. And, if you're grinding this vehicle, it's probably not a bad idea to do so. It is a challenge at first, especially if you don't know your maps, you don't know your positioning, and if you don't know the opponents that you're facing, for example, like the M60, the T-54, the BMP is a big one, Object 120 is also a big one. Various vehicles in this tree, battle rating, are going to give you a hard time, but if you can work your way around it, if you know your maps, if you know roughly what you're doing, you'll have a good time. The only real problem that I've run into with the Orbital is the XM1s. Apart from that, I've had a blast playing this thing. I played it on stream earlier today, and it was an absolute blast. So much fun. And you can see exactly why. It's got good mobility, very decent dart, and it's got a decent reload too. It also gets scouting and artillery, but mainly the gun and the mobility are the things that I think are the interesting things. This particular gun is brand new to War Thunder. No other tank in the game currently has it, and I'm kind of surprised because I believe there were Shermans that were equipped with this. I want to see him. Chuck him at what? 7.3? 7.7? That'd be kind of cool. You can see I've hit an Object 120 from the side and I missed the ammunition. So what I have to do is I have to, go for him again, but he gets taken out by a Centauro. What I'm doing here is I'm essentially going to try and come around to A from the other side, from the long way around. I'm going to try and clear out behind. So normally there's a lemming train, if you will, that goes towards the cap circle. And I'm going to try and sneak in, cut in somewhere about halfway, and try and work my way across back to the cap and then push again with my team. This is normally the strategy that you would do in any sort of light armored car, any sort of sneaky tank, I guess. And you can see that this is exactly what I'm trying to do in the Orbital here. I can see that there's something that the enemy team has put on the edge of the town, on the eastern side of the town, and my teammates have pointed that out to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for a road and just completely belt down this road at 80 kilometers an hour. This thing is so fast on roads. It is ridiculous. I managed to get some pretty nice kills with the high speed, but the high speed has also been a bit of a detriment because if you fire this gun off the side of the tank while you're traveling at speed, it'll actually flip you around. That's how light this tank is, or at least that's what must have happened to me. But T-62, no problem. From the side, that thing is very tightly packed, and if you shoot it in the right spot, sort of just right on the gun breech, you'll get all 3 crew members, 2 out of 3. And here's another little customer right here. The T-95E1, I put a shot into its rear, I take out some of its crew in the lower part of the turret, and then I go for the stuff in the top of the turret. The reload is actually fairly good, 6 seconds aced, and despite that, I just missed the ammo on the rise. I hit the loader instead. It looks like leopards aren't the only things that are made of loaders. And he pushes around the corner, I get him in the turret ring, that's a third kill, nice and quick. It's a great... Gaijin, please. I wanna get through that wall, but the orbit's too bloody light. It's it's crazy. You can punch through an M60, but try and drive through a wall and you're not gonna have a good time. One thing I did find about the Dart is it's extremely fast, so much so that leading for this IS-3 was a bit of a challenge because it was a lot faster than I anticipated. I was expecting it to sort of fall roughly where it does now in my second attempt. But it's very fast. Something like 1,600 meters per second. Crazy fast dart. You have to be careful though when you are shooting at things like M60s, IS-4s, things that have a lot of armor, even the mouse, but you'll never fight the mouse unless you get a pure mixed. But the thing is, with the Orbital, with the high velocity gun, you don't have a YOLO lol pen shell. Like you can't just go in and smack everyone. It doesn't work that way. The gun itself, you need to actually aim for weak spots, especially if you're up tiered against things with armor. Things like the T55AM1 and the T62M, the XM1, things like the IS-4, like I've already mentioned, you can't just go in and lol pen them like nothing else, which is kind of nice. The M103 you also have to be careful of. You have to aim for weak spots in this thing, which makes it a very well-balanced tank. It's very fast. The dart is really good. But at the same time, you need to aim for weak spots. You need to flank. You need to, I guess, not completely potato everything like that M901. I don't know how I potatoed this next shot as well. I don't seem to hit anything vital. Maybe I should have aimed slightly further to the left, but this thing is so nice. It's actually a really decent grinder, and honestly, if you're looking at grinding it out for the event, or maybe spending a couple of eagles, honestly, for a couple of days, it's not bad. If you're going to catch up on a couple of days worth, and then get the event by grinding it, I think it's very, very worthwhile. 100%. This tank is wild fun, much like the P59, and at the same time, it's not broken overpowered like the Pack Puma, or meta defining like the Pack Puma rather, or the FJ4, or the Sturmvogel, or the KV220 if you want to call that. I mean, the KV220's not that overpowered. It's got a weak spot, and that's sort of really all it needs. But for the most part, a lot of the vehicles that come with Operation Summer in the past, or the Winter event, or Operation Heat now, in previous months or previous marathons have been either meta-defining or completely useless. Things like the T30 is more of a meme than an actual, grindable vehicle. There was the Grant when it first came to the game in the British tree, probably not worth that much. Things like the KV220, like I've already said, or the Sturmvogel are meta-defining, and something like the Orbital with the high velocity gun is not quite meta-defining because you have the Centauro in the main tree, which practically does the same job. But you also have other vehicles around it that can counter it quite well, and vehicles that it counters quite well. So you have a lot of good things. I honestly don't think that this should have been added to the regular tree. I think maybe a Centauro with this gun should be added to the regular tree, and maybe could go to 8.0 as well. But at the same time, this platform and having the gun on this particular platform is quite nice. It's unique. It's exactly how an Operation Summer or an Operation Heat vehicle should be. Gaijin have nailed it this time around. Every single vehicle is able to be represented in the tech tree by something else. So for the F-34, you have the T-50 or the T-126. They perform the same role. They're fast, they're light, they have a punchy enough gun, they have decent enough armor. Things like, that shot was disgusting by the way, but things like the BF-110 is easily replaceable by the BF110 G2, C7, you name it. But they all have something unique, which is really, really nice to see. Gaijin have nailed it, and I can do nothing but applaud them this time around. Everything is unique, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And if you want to grind these out, I say go for it. Each vehicle I think is worth it. Maybe not the ships, because I don't really play ships, but something like the Orbital, something like the BT7 with the F-32, that's going to be a great meme. That's going to be absolutely amazing. But everything has a place that's unique, and that's what defines this summer event as a good event. I love it. It's perfect, Gaijin. Keep more of these, please. It's perfect. And I absolutely love the way they've done it. They're starting... Well, Gaijin does this a lot. They do some good things and they do some bad things. And obviously, criticism is worth it when it's due. But at the same time, if they do something right, you can't keep ratting on them. It's perfect, Gaijin. Thank you. This is exactly the way it should be, and this is exactly the way it has turned out. There's nothing that is meta-defining, which is perfect. But for the most part, the Orbital itself is still wild fun. The Air Comet is still wild fun. I absolutely had a blast playing them on stream. And if you might like that sort of playstyle, then the tank is actually really nice for grinding. It's like, what more could you want? It's like not broken, overpowered. It's useful. It's premium. It's rank 5. I'm using it to grind out my my rank 5s as well, and my rank 6s eventually. But it's really, really well done. You have a decent lineup, I guess, because you've got the Centauro with its compatriots. You have the OF40. You have the Saddam. You have the R3 if you want it. If you want to up tier the Orbital, it can. It can't really take on the T-64 because of its armor, but certain other vehicles at that tier you can have some fun with. MBT-70, you could probably give it a run for its money. It's so much. It's perfect. I don't know what else to say. It is absolutely stunning. And you get something as nice as the F-84G to come into your lineup where, you get some nice dogfights. And this sits at a tier. This whole thing, 8.0, is a beautiful tier. It's kind of like the new 6.7, or 6.7, what it was in the old days, where everyone was, not really quite tryharding, sitting at the back of the map, although you do get 9.0s that do that. And I might do a video on that, on this very map, actually. But there's so much to look for in this battle rating. This sort of section, this old top tier, oh man, it is absolutely perfect, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. Gaijin, you have outdone yourself this time. It's perfect. But that's pretty much it. F-84G, good. It's good for CAS. The HVARs are pretty good. I've used them quite effectively on stream, especially when there are BMPs running around. Things that you can hull break. It's pretty swell. It's a swell time. You'll enjoy it. And the lineup is fairly strong. Every nation gets a fairly strong lineup. Even the British get the Vickers MBT, the Conqueror, the Falcon at 7.7. The Germans get the Leopard, the Mouse, the RU-251 if you have it, the Hanomag Henschel, the 10.5, the Panther 2. The Americans get the M60, the M48. They get the Magach if you have it. There's something for everyone. Even if you go a little bit higher and you go to 8.3, everyone's got something that they can throw at this battle rating. And it's fun. It's well balanced. And Gaijin has just put a well balanced tank into an overall well balanced meta. What more can I say apart from it's perfect? But anyway, ladies and gents, that is the Orbital. I get my lovely little Semoventa there. But it's good. It's great. And it's definitely worth the grind. I would 100% say it is worth the grind. But that's all for now, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care. And I'll catch you next time.